Page 611, Epilogue. We appear to have reached a crossroad. Two paths unfold before the human mind. One is a mechanistic, reductionistic and materialistic conception of the universe. While it has been an extraordinarily successful tool for unearthing knowledge and crafting technology, it leaves the human psyche in a state of limbo. Consciousness and free will are fictitious, the universe is ad hoc, random, and devoid of meaning. Existence is cruel, callous, and absurd. This path is a continuation of the one that the majority of humanity is currently journeying on. However, we now see a new trail emerge, bifurcating off the beaten path. It too carries the hallmarks of knowledge generation. However, it speaks of an entirely different cosmos. The human mind is invited to comprehend its kinship with the material, to understand its own primal and universal nature. It is reminded to seek its own authority within itself. How will the human mind choose? The clock is ticking. We're witnessing the global increase of religious fundamentalism and extremism. A new rise of populism is transitioning towards fascism, and open neo-Nazism is re-emerging. In effect, we are seeing the general radicalization of countless people around the globe. Anger, fury, hatred and fear abound. In order to precipitate this sentiment for self-serving power, post-truth is being weaponized by the insidious, and reality and facts become optional. Debates with creationists and flat earthers continue inconclusively and ad nauseum. We truly live in tumultuous times, in a global environment where ignorance, myopia, denial, cynicism, indifference, callousness, alienation, disenchantment, and superficiality reign. It is not surprising to witness people escaping this angst short-term by distracting consumerism and numbing materialism overall. Our collective psyche is suffering under the current zeitgeist. In just a few decades, the complexity and uncertainty of the lives we lead has dramatically increased, and we now struggle even harder to find meaning. Most ominously, artificial intelligence software and robotic systems are lined up to take over the jobs of many unqualified workers, even qualified ones. Already in 1991, the historian Richard Tarnas analyzed all of these problem complexes in his best-selling book, The Passion of the Western Mind. The following powerful and penetrating words resonate more than ever. Begin quote. Human individuality seemed increasingly tenuous, disappearing under the impact of mass production, the mass media, and the spread of a bleak and problem-ridden urbanization. Traditional structures and values were crumbling. With an unending stream of technological innovation, modern life was subject to an unprecedentedly disorienting rapidity of change, gigantism and turmoil, excessive noise, speed, and complexity dominated the human environment. The world in which man lived was becoming as impersonal as the cosmos of his science. With the pervasiveness of anonymity, hollowness, and materialism of modern life, man's capacity to retain his humanity in an environment determined by technology seemed increasingly in doubt. For many, the question of human freedom, of mankind's ability to maintain mastery over its own creation, had become acute. But But compounding these humanistic critiques were more disturbingly concrete signs of science's untoward consequences. The critical contamination of the planet's water, air and soil, the manifold harmful effects on animal and plant life, the extinction of innumerable species, the deforestation of the globe, the erosion of topsoil, the depletion of groundwater, the vast accumulation of toxic wastes, the apparent exacerbation of the greenhouse effect, the breakdown of the ozone layer in the atmosphere, the radical disruption of the entire planetary ecosystem. All this emerged as direly serious problems with increasing force and complexity." End quote. In a similar vein, the words of the historian Yuval Harari in his bestseller *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind* begin quote, "Moreover, despite the astonishing things that humans are capable of doing, we remain unsure of our goals, and we seem to be as discontent as ever. We have advanced from canoes to galleys, to steamships to space shuttles, but nobody knows where we're going. We are more powerful than ever before, but have very little idea what to do with all this power. Worse still, humans seem to be more irresponsible than ever. Self-made gods, with only the laws of physics to keep us company, we are accountable to no one. We are consequently wreaking havoc on our fellow animals and on the surrounding ecosystem, seeking little more than our own comfort and amusement, yet never finding satisfaction. Is there anything more dangerous than dissatisfied and irresponsible gods who don't know what they want?" End quote. We have become very accustomed and alarmingly indifferent and unconcerned about the state of human affairs. As a species, our recent terraforming activities have fundamentally transformed the biosphere we rely on, resulting in considerable impact for us individually. In a nutshell, we have devised linear systems that extract resources at one end, which, after being consumed, are disposed of at the other end. However, on a finite planet, extraction soon becomes exploitation, and disposal results in pollution. Today, this can be witnessed at unprecedented global scales. We have arrived at the Anthropocene. The habits of consumption in affluent countries have become deleterious to the biosphere. So, was this it? Are we simply yet another civilization at the precipice of its demise? Are we just a very brief, albeit spectacular, perturbation in the billion-year history of life on Earth, which will most probably adapt to anything short of a global cataclysm and continue to flourish for billions of years until our sun runs out of fuel and turns into a red giant? Perhaps things are not as hopeless as they seem. Maybe the chaotic paths to destruction or survival really are only separated by the metaphorical flapping of the wings of a butterfly. In the case at hand, a mere flicker in the minds of people, for instance, a radical and contagious thought or idea, could alter the course of history. What is missing is possibly a subtle change in the way we perceive and think of ourselves and the world we inhabit. A change that would initiate a true shift in our behavior, which could lead to adaptive, resilient, and sustainable human systems and interactions. There exists most probably no universal law prohibiting the emergence of collective intelligence in a system comprised of individually intelligent beings. Our global display of non-intelligence is simply a collective choice we all continue to make. Indeed, today, the human mind possesses the blueprints for designing collective intelligence systems. Could there be something we don't yet know about ourselves and the universe we inhabit, the knowledge of which could change everything?